Oh, hey, there you are.
Hey, can't the guy have a little privacy here? Do his business and write down some YouTube video ideas for the next videos coming out? What the heck do you want?
It's tank time, baby.
Tank time?
Tank time.
That means I should have probably done that first then.
Perhaps.
Excuse me, miss.
Tank time.
I'll be right with you.
Thank you. Okay, so in conclusion, we've determined easy peasy breezy.
Nobody wants to mess with the stinky slinky. Black tank, nobody wants to do the black tank. But you know what? It's part of RV life. Doesn't matter if you're in a fifth wheel like we are, a camper trailer, a truck camper. If you have a black tank and a toilet, you're going to have to deal with this.
So realistically, about half an hour tops to complete, right?
You can do it in half an hour. You get really good. It's going to take you a little bit longer. This video isn't for everybody. It's for people that want to learn how we do it or have never done it before.
Well, actually, it's for me. To be honest with you, it's for me. It's for me so that when I have to go do it, I could just look at the video on how to do it, because some of it I'll remember, some I might not. Just being honest.
And we get this question all the time. How do I drain your black tank? I'm brand new to this. This is to help you. You brand new people, you newbies. We're newbies. We were newbies. Now we're not newbies.
Well, I'm kind of still a newbie to the draining the black tank, but I'll be pro pretty soon.
All right, Marcy, welcome to the newbie club. You're gonna want to stick around because we've got some secrets about toilet paper. Do you need to spend $2 a roll on toilet paper for your RV? We'll let you know about that, what we've learned about toilet paper at near the end of this video. This is gonna be for our toilet. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull that one and all the icky stuff's gonna come out. And we're not going to show the icky stuff coming out.
Hopefully, right? You want it, I mean, if it doesn't, then you're in trouble.
Then you're in trouble.
You need to put the good stuff in there.
So we're not going to show that coming through. You want one of these clears so you can make sure things are coming through. You'd like to have a clear one at this end where it comes through, and at the other end,
so you know you have no clogs.
Where it all goes down to the bottom, so you don't know. Yeah, so you know if you don't have any clogs or.
All right.
So all you do is you go ahead and open that, but I don't think we should be showing what's coming out.
Let's not. That's grim. No, I actually don't want to see it, but I will just look away.
The black tank is all drained, but we need to flush it. So depending on your RV, trailer, fifth wheel, camper, whatever you have, some have a flush, some don't have a flush, some have a different system. They all pretty much work the same, and people hook them up differently. So I'm going to show you the way we've done it. So in here...
What do you mean hook them up differently? They're already hooked up.
No, some people have a different flush.
Okay.
So for ours, right now it's so cold here that this is our
really cold
water filter, and I just have it wrapped in a towel to make sure it doesn't freeze. This is our city water coming in, and you'll see that I've got it wide here.
Okay.
This is our sewer black flush.
So you put a little Y in there so you can split it?
This is our sewer black flush. So what I'm going to do is, some people tell you should have two separate hoses coming in, one for your city water, one for your black flush, to make sure there's no contamination. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut off my city water first.
Oh, what's that? Oh, there's like little thingies on there.
Yeah, so that shuts off my city water.
Okay.
And then I'm going to turn on my black tank flush.
Okay, so what kind of water is that then?
That's water.
So, okay, wait, stop. So that means so that the city water doesn't flow through to your flush water. Right? But it all comes from the same spot.
It means so I don't get any back flush back into the hose from the flush.
Nasty, okay.
So now what it's doing is it's filling up, and it's gonna, there's inside the black tank, depending on the system that you have, some will just have a little hose that goes in there and it spurts out like this on the inside of the tank. Some have, like I call it a whirly bird or whatever. Think of a water garden sprinkler.
So it washes the walls.
So it washes the walls and the top of it.
Oh, that would make sense.
So what will happen now, I'm standing here because you don't need to see what's coming out. So what happened now is water's going to go into your black tank, and it's going to help wash all the walls, the whole 9 yards. You leave that gate open for a little bit. So I usually do it for about 5 minutes to 7 minutes, depending on, I do it until the water starts to run clear. But what I'm going to do right now, it's running, and I'm not showing it because nobody wants to see that.
Okay, so it's running and you have the thing open, so it's not like collecting in the tank, it's shooting in there and shooting back out.
Yes.
Okay.
So right now I've got it open, but what I'm going to do is when it starts to run clear on me,
without showing you,
I am going to close.
You want to see that, right? Not me. I'm trying not to look at it now, and I'm here.
I'm going to close the black tank gate so it will fill up with some fresh water, and then I'll open it, and I'll do that a couple of times. So right now it's running clear. I'm just gonna close it.
Okay, so now you close it.
So right now, that's the flush. I'm gonna close the black tank so it fills up a little bit with water.
Yeah.
And normally I put on a timer for a couple minutes or whatever, because you don't want to overflow it and come outside your toilet inside.
Yeah, no.
You can get a little water reader, tells you how many gallons you're putting in there as it's going in. We don't have one, so I have to guesstimate by counting usually. So also what's very important, and it is law depending on what state you're in or country you're in, to have your black tank hose sewer line
situation
up off the ground.
Makes sense.
So
It's cold here too.
A lot of places don't allow you to have it sitting on the ground.
Okay, so next step, after you close that, you've got the water running in there. We have no idea how long now because we weren't counting.
No, so I'm going to open it up. I'm not going to show what's coming out because there is going to be more icky coming out. So I'm going to open it back up.
He's opening it back up.
So I'll do this a couple of times. So what she's done, this is the second time that I'm doing this where I close it, reopen it, just let the water that's going in there.
It's clear.
It's clear, right? So now that it's running clear, I'll come over here, and this is my city water going in. This is the water that's going to
the flush.
The flush, right? So now while it's running, I'm closing it off, and I'm going to let all the water drain out down there, and then I'll reopen my fresh water going into the RV. So now that I've put the gate back for our black tank, I've confirmed the water's all off and it's going the right way, and there is no backflow because we don't want backflow. Even though the water isn't going into the black tank and coming back into your water hose, you still don't want any backflow. You don't want any risk of that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up our galley tank. So for our kitchen sink, you always open that up after you clean your black tank because it's going to help rinse out the hose. And believe it or not, sometimes your galley tank or your kitchen sink tank can smell and be even worse than your black tank, which is kind of funny because
that's why they have P-traps in there though.
Yeah, because you got food particles go down there. And always make sure that you've got a little screen in your sink so you don't have other stuff going down.
For sure, I suggest that in all your RV sinks to have a little screen over it.
And some of the mistakes that people do sometimes is they'll do their galley tank first, or they'll leave their galley tank open all the time, and then they'll go and they'll do their black tank, but they don't have anything flushing out that hose after that they do that. So when you open it up, you're going to see it's going to look kind of icky, because you know what, you're dumping coffee down there and this and that from your coffee cups or whatever it is. So it's going to look icky, it's just not as bad. So now that the black tank's closed, and you really should have gloves on, but because I'm not touching anything because we're hooked up permanently right now,
we don't have to disconnect the hose itself.
We don't have to disconnect any of the hose, right? All I'm doing is opening and closing gates. So now I'm going to open up our galley tank, which is this far valve on this side. And some RVs will have all these valves inside. It's called I think it's called a nautical system, where all the valves and everything will all be inside the cover. Ours are underneath.
Maybe the next RV, we'll see.
So if this is going to be our kitchen sink, you'll see it's going to be black because of coffee going down there or anything like that. So open that one up.
Looks like coffee.
And it's just letting out all the dishwater and things like that that would have been in the sink. I'm gonna let that go through, and then I'll show you one of the most important things to do in your black tank as soon as this is done.
Okay, so at this point we're done with the outside stuff, right? Now you move into the inside.
So, in real quick steps, the very first step, make sure everything's good, clear, put gloves on if you have to, make sure you hook up your sewer line if you have to. Like I said, at this point in time we don't have to do that. Step one. Step two, go ahead and open up your black tank. Get all the ickiness out of there.
Step three.
Step three, you're going to want to flush your black tank. So depending on what kind of system you have.
Step three, you want to turn off the water.
Yes,
first.
But depending on the system that you have,
right,
you may or may not have to do that.
Okay, so that'd be step three. Step four.
Flush the black tank.
Yes.
Some people don't let it run and keep the valve open right away. Some people do. I like to leave it open right away to try and get anything that may still be in there. Then close the valve, fill up that black tank with a little bit of water, open it up, do that a few times.
Or however until it's clear.
Until it's clear.
So the outside stuff complete. Moving on to the inside.
Not complete yet. After you flush it, close that and go ahead and pull your galley tank valve.
Right.
For your kitchen sink. Get all the ickiness out of the hose with all your soap and stuff that you may have used for washing dishes.
And if you're parked and you don't have your shower or bathroom sink open,
then you'd want to
now you'd want to open that as well. But we leave it open because we're parked.
Yes. And you're
for
going to fill that
showers.
shower tank up quicker if you have 2 gray tanks. You're going to fill it up quicker. You're going to be doing that more anyways.
Oh, well, at my shower for sure.
So now that I've confirmed everything is back to the way it's supposed to be, my flush is turned off, my fresh water for the trailer or for the fifth wheel or your RV or trailer or camper that you have is turned back on, everything's good. Now, the most important
Now, outside
part,
done, inside.
you need this. This is your friend. Okay? Let's go inside and I'll show you. So take your bucket inside. Let's get some light on the situation here. So you'll notice we have our control panel up here. So if I was to hit the black tank, even though I've just emptied it, it's going to show it's full.
Because they don't work worth a darn.
They don't work worth a darn. My galley tank kitchen should show empty, and it's not. It's showing 1/3. Okay.
So don't rely on those.
Here's one of the tricks. If you're wondering if your black tank or whatever is full, if you go to flush your toilet and you hear like a gurgling noise or a burp, you know it's full. It's time to empty that. You'll get into a routine if you haven't done it. But now, the most important part. Now that you've emptied it, you, believe it or not, need to add water into it. So take your bucket, put it in your sink, whatever. Sometimes you'll have something better in your bathroom. We don't. Turn your cold water on. And then grab some good black tank treatment. This is not the best. A lot of people have different ones or whatever. I would like to do a
We're
review.
out. We're just using our leftover right now because we don't want to run out because it's cold outside.
Put this right in there.
Also, what we've learned is if you get those little pods, you really need to break those up and stick them in the bucket because they don't break down like they should inside the black tank. And sometimes you'll see part of the pod, like the plastic or something, doesn't really seem to dilute very well.
And that's what's happened a lot of times is if you watch other people's YouTube, sometimes they'll complain about the little pods, like laundry pods that you can get. They say you can just throw it into your toilet or right into your black tank. A lot of times what happens is those pods don't open sometimes, or you'll end up with a big sack from the pod itself that could cause problems into your tank. I always recommend if you're going to do it, put it into the bucket, make sure it does open, make sure that sack does dissolve. But if us, I'd open, as messy as it would be, I'd open up the pod, so it's not worth us to get the pods. For the extra, you're going to put water down there anyway.
Well, it's a pain in the butt. You just want to pour the liquid in and be done with it.
So now,
Step 5. Step
6, 7, 8, whatever. I'll have to go back and see how many steps there actually are. So now that your bucket's full with the treatment in there, just go ahead, dump it in your toilet. So,
Whoa, hello.
hi, how you doing? So I normally will put 1.5 of these in. You want to make sure there's a lot of water down there to begin with because you think what you're going to be putting down there. The mistake people make is they empty it and then they leave it dry and then they do their business. The next thing you know, they can't get it all out. So
We know the saying, what we've seen. I know everyone's seen it on YouTube. Water, 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 and more water. Just when you think you put enough water down there, you didn't put enough water down there. So start with some. Give yourself a head start.
It's your friend. So I'm going to put about another half of this in because I put one full one in. I'm not going to put any more treatment in there. I'm just going to put half of this bucket of water and we'll go from there.
So toilet paper, let's discuss it.
So in conclusion, you know how to empty it, but here's the thing. People always worry about getting toilet paper jams, how much I need to spend on toilet paper. Not a lot. You know what? Do your research. We did our research. There's a lot of people that actually test different brands of toilet paper. So depending where you are, some place in the United States or the US, they use, I think it's called Angel Fresh. You need something that's about a 2-ply toilet paper that's septic safe.
It says it right on the back of most toilet papers packaging. It'll say septic safe. If it's septic safe, we've used it and we haven't had an issue.
Walmart, for example, both in Canada and the US and probably other places, you can get their great value 2-ply. The big trick is make sure it's septic safe. Also remember, it's going into a holding tank. It's not going into a septic tank, a septic system, and it's not going into your city tanks where you don't have to worry about how much you use. Keep in mind, be mindful of how much you're actually using. Only use what you need to. You won't have a problem. We have never had a problem, knock on wood, down here.
So it goes for what you're pouring down there to break it down and also the type of...
Yes, your chemicals that you're using.
And to be honest with you, the RV stuff that they sell is not my happy place.
And that RV
it's
stuff
terrible.
is expensive and it's not very nice to use.
So don't do it. Just don't do it.
Don't do it. If you got more questions about it, leave some comments below. If you like videos like this, please give us a thumbs up, as Marcy would normally say.
Don't say that, because Marcy's right here. Don't Don't forget to subscribe.
As Marcy always says.
Don't forget to subscribe.
And ding that notification bell so you'll be notified on the next video that we put out. And we will see you soon.